The ongoing conflict between Israel and Hamas has endured for several decades. However, it has recently reached a new, disturbing level of violence and destruction. The world has been closely monitoring these developments with a sense of alarm. One nation that has unequivocally shown its support for Hamas is Iran. Iran maintains a strong affiliation with the Palestinian organization and openly declared that it would take action if Israel were to invade Gaza. This stance underscores Iran's commitment to the Palestinian cause. Moreover, Iran's involvement goes beyond providing financial and military aid. The nation has alluded to the existence of a secret weapon, the nature of which has not been fully disclosed. Iranian officials believe that this undisclosed weapon could potentially impact the ongoing conflict in the region significantly. The specifics of this secret weapon and when Iran plans to deploy it remains shrouded in secrecy, raising questions and concerns about the trajectory of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. As the situation continues to evolve, international observers are keen to learn more about Iran's intentions and capabilities in the region. Iran's weapon supply to Hamas. In the midst of the intense conflict in the Middle East, a crucial question that many people have is where Hamas obtains its significant arsenal of weapons. The answer to this question is quite straightforward: Iran. Recent reports from the Wall Street Journal have highlighted Iran's increased efforts to arm Islamic militants hostile to Israel. These efforts include smuggling weapons into areas like the West Bank and Lebanon, which border Israel and are home to groups such as Hamas and Hezbollah. Michael Horowitz, the head of intelligence for the consulting firm Lebec International, who monitors Iran's activities in the region, points out that the flow of weapons has notably increased over the past year. Iran's focus on the West Bank has intensified, with the goal of arming groups like Hamas and Hezbollah. Iran's strategic objective is to provoke Israel into a costly and unpopular war, potentially damaging its international reputation, while simultaneously aiming to gain allies and leverage among sympathetic Sunni Muslim populations in the Arab world. In 2005, a pivotal and transformative event reshaped the dynamics in the Middle East when Israel decided to withdraw from the Gaza Strip. This withdrawal marked a significant turning point in the regional landscape, creating an opportunity for Hamas, the Palestinian militant organization, to establish a clandestine supply route connecting them with two key players in the Middle East, Iran and Syria. This strategic shift allowed Hamas to substantially enhance its weapons arsenal, with profound implications for regional stability. The continuous influx of arms not only affected the security dynamics in the Gaza Strip, but also had broader implications for regional geopolitics. Covert arms supply network. In recent years, the alliance between Hamas and its regional supporters, Iran and Syria, has strengthened significantly. This growing partnership has had far-reaching consequences on the ongoing conflicts and tensions in the Middle East. Notably, Hamas has amassed a substantial and diverse arsenal of rockets, adding complexity to the situation. These rockets have become a central element in the ongoing conflicts involving Israel and other regional actors. One of the key challenges faced by Iran is supplying weapons to its allies and proxies in the region while evading detection and interception by Israeli and other opposing forces. To address this challenge, Iran has established a complex and covert supply route. This route typically passes through Iraq and Syria before reaching its intended destinations, such as Lebanon or Jordan. According to a report by the Wall Street Journal, Iran seeks to turn Jordan into a transit area for weapons destined for Israel. But there are concerns that these weapons may also be used within Jordan, posing a potential security threat to the region. The report further reveals that Iran has been providing various types of weapons to its allies and proxies, some of which are copies or modifications of US and Russian models. In Jordan, Iranian-made versions of US Claymore anti-personnel mines, M4-style assault rifles, and TNT explosives were discovered, according to a senior Jordanian official. These weapons are intended for use by Hamas and other militant groups in the West Bank, with the aim of undermining the peace process and launching attacks against Israel. Additionally, Israeli border forces stationed in the West Bank have seized anti-personnel mines produced in Iran and Russia, as reported by an information network advising the Israeli police. These mines are designed to cause significant harm to human targets and can be triggered remotely, posing a serious threat to the security and stability of the region. Typically, these arms are transported from Syria into Jordan in trucks, making them hard to detect as they traverse off-road routes through the desert. Iran's covert tactics. Iran's efforts to supply weapons extend beyond land transportation. They utilize air and sea routes to smuggle arms into Lebanon and Gaza, where Hezbollah and Hamas operate. These arms are often transported from Syria to Jordan in trucks, which are challenging to spot as they travel off-road through the desert, as reported by the Wall Street Journal. A particularly intriguing method employed by Iran is the use of drones for weapon delivery. Drones have become increasingly sophisticated and pose a significant challenge. In February 2023, Jordanian officials intercepted an unmanned aerial vehicle from Syria carrying 4 hand grenades. This drone was en route to deliver explosives to a militant group in the West Bank or Israel. Even inexpensive commercial drones can carry assault weapons and are difficult to detect, according to an unnamed Jordanian security official. Iran's strategy to counter Israel isn't just its arsenal, but also its strategy of deception and deterrence. Iran understands it cannot defeat Israel militarily, but it aims to create enough trouble and uncertainty for Israel to think twice before taking action. Iran relies on the support of its proxies and partners in the region, such as Hamas, Hezbollah, Syria, Iraq, and Turkey, leveraging its network of alliances and influences. Israel has attempted to counter Iran's efforts with airstrikes, raids, and covert operations against weapon shipments and storage sites. However, these measures have not been sufficient to thwart Iran's determination and ingenuity. Iran has used various routes and methods for smuggling weapons, including tunnels, boats, trucks, planes, and even exploiting political instability in neighboring countries like Syria, Iraq, and Yemen. As an example, Iran established a route in 2006 to smuggle missiles and ammunition to Hamas in the Gaza Strip through Yemen and Sudan. Smugglers transported weapons from Sudan through Egypt's desert to the Gaza Strip, aided by Bedouin smugglers. Iran has also utilized humanitarian aid shipments as a cover for smuggling weapons into Syria. Additionally, weapons, including Iranian copies of US Claymore anti-personnel mines, M4-style assault rifles, and TNT explosives, have been smuggled through Jordan. The proliferation of weapons in the region has led to various incidents, including the detention of a Jordanian lawmaker for attempting to smuggle over 200 firearms into the West Bank. Jordanian officials face growing pressure and responsibilities related to addressing the issue of armed smuggling in the Middle East. Decades of tension. The conflict between Iran and Israel has been marked by tension and hostility for several decades, leading to ongoing proxy confrontations since 1985. The relationship between the two countries can be divided into four major phases: an ambivalent period from 1947 to 1953, a friendly period during the era of the Pahlavi dynasty from 1953 to 1979, a worsening period following the Iranian Revolution from 1979 to 1990, and the ongoing period of open hostility since the end of the Gulf War in 1991. After the 1979 Islamic Revolution, Iran severed all diplomatic and commercial ties with Israel, and its theocratic government does not recognize Israel's legitimacy as a state. The conflict has escalated due to various factors, including Iran's nuclear technology development, its support for Islamic groups like Hezbollah, Palestinian Islamic Jihad, and Hamas, as well as alleged involvement in terrorist attacks. Israel, on the other hand, is accused of supporting militant groups and engaging in covert operations within Iran. This conflict has had significant regional repercussions, leading to the displacement of millions, widespread destruction, loss of lives, and destabilization of neighboring countries. The United States has played a complex role, being a close ally of Israel, providing military and financial aid, imposing economic sanctions on Iran, and engaging in efforts to prevent Iran from developing nuclear weapons. The U.S. was involved in negotiations leading to the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, JCPOA, in 2015, aimed at preventing Iran from acquiring nuclear weapons. However, the U.S. withdrew from the agreement in 2018, leading to increased tensions between Iran and the U.S. The U.S. involvement in the conflict between Iran and Israel encompasses military support, sanctions, and diplomatic efforts to resolve the ongoing tensions.